Just the name Ryan Leaf brings collective groans, and the word bust is thought of instantly. But at one point, Leaf was debated as a better prospect than Peyton Manning. So, how did he go from a can't-miss prospect to rock bottom? Today, we go through the story of Ryan Leaf and just how bad he actually was. Ryan Leaf grew up in Great Falls, where he dominated the state of Montana. With Leaf under center, the Russell High School Rustlers won the 1992 state title. But he was under crazy scrutiny for a kid who just led his school to a championship. People in the town, a town run by football, actively hated Leaf. His overbearing, competitive fire led to people calling him a showboat and emotional. In basketball, he was suspended a few games for flipping off the crowd. He alienated all of his opponents with his cocky style. Coming into his senior year, the University of Miami was recruiting Leaf, but not to play quarterback. Instead, the Canes wanted his big body at tight end. That's when Washington State came calling. Mike Price, the Cougars head coach, had a simple recruiting pitch. He called him while the Rose Bowl was live on TV and said, "If you come to Pullman, we will go there." Mind you, the Cougs hadn't been to the Rose Bowl in 67 years. That brash style resonated with Ryan, 17 at the time. He could relate to Coach Price. He committed to WSU, surprising many. After getting his first taste of college ball as a freshman, his next 2 seasons were nothing short of prolific, especially 1997, Leaf's junior season. Washington State was an unknown, an underdog that they still are today. Picked to finish 7th in the Pac-10, Leaf and the Cougars opened the season up against the 2 Pac-10 bullies, UCLA and USC. Every expert had them going 0-2, season already wasted, over, just 2 weeks in. Leaf and the Fab Five, his self-proclaimed group of skilled players, had other ideas. They shocked the Bears and the world in Week 1, winning late 37-34. Then they went to the Coliseum in Southern Cal and controlled the game against the Trojans, eventually winning 28-21. With Leaf at the helm, they went on to have the greatest season in Washington State history. Leaf broke the Pac-10 touchdown record, throwing 33 scoring strikes while winning Conference Player of the Year awards, finishing 3rd in the Heisman voting, and taking home the Sammy Baugh Trophy, given to the nation's best passer. The Cougs won their first Pac-10 championship in school history, finished 9th in the overall polls, and just like Coach Price guaranteed, they made it to the Rose Bowl. The Cougars fell short to the eventual national champion Michigan Wolverines, despite a strong performance from Leaf. With little left to accomplish, Ryan Leaf skipped his senior year to enter the 1998 NFL Draft. Going into the draft, there was but one and only one storyline: Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. Who would be the better quarterback? They were 1A and 1B the entire way, and undoubtedly their careers would be connected forever. The debate was fierce. Tampa Bay coach Tony Dungy said the league was split on who was better. Ryan Leaf had all the talent and latent potential in the world. Many believed he was more athletic and possessed a stronger arm than Manning. But as Leaf was being compared to a future Hall of Famer, ominous signs of his own NFL future began to pop up. In just the 3 months between the Rose Bowl and the NFL Combine, Ryan Leaf packed on 20 pounds of pure fat. Despite that, the San Diego Chargers loved both quarterbacks so much that they traded up one spot with the Cardinals to ensure they got whoever the Colts didn't pick with the first overall selection. Turns out, Leaf made that selection easy for Indy. Leaf blew off his pre-draft meeting with the Colts. When Bill Polian, Indy's GM, told Leaf of future minicamp dates should they draft him, Leaf let him know he wouldn't make it. Instead, he had a Vegas trip with his buddies planned. That probably leaves a bad taste in the mouth. I wanted to go to the beach, the money, the babes. That was the mindset of a 21-year-old, Leaf said later. That thinking led him to tell Indianapolis to straight up not draft him. He wanted the Californian sun over quite possibly a better roster to play with. He was now 260 pounds, and reports of his off-putting personality spread through the league. Self-confident to the point of arrogance and obnoxious became the first label he would be known by. After trading a king's ransom for it, the San Diego Chargers drafted Ryan Leaf when the Colts granted his wish of passing on him. He was given everything he ever asked for. And that's where our story takes a swift and dark turn. In his intro conference, Leaf couldn't fight off yawns to answer questions from the media, which makes sense when he spent the night before partying on the Las Vegas Strip in the Chargers owner's private jet. Before he ever even hit the field, the NFL fined Leaf when he skipped out on the last day of a mandatory rookie symposium. They took $10K right out of his bank account. Leaf was given the biggest rookie contract in the history of NFL football at the time. and was named the day one starter from the beginning of training camp. All of that despite the fact he came in 15 pounds overweight and unable to complete a lap around the field without gasping for air and taking a break. In an almost comical single-play summary of his story, Ryan Leaf literally fumbled the snap on the first play of his NFL career. He would throw his first NFL touchdown pass later in the game, but then threw a boneheaded and costly first career int that gave the Bills the lead. It would take two absolute shanks from the Bills kicker late in the game to reserve a win in his NFL debut. Leaf followed up his debut with a below-average but turnover-free performance. San Diego's stifling defense took charge and led them to their second straight win. What if we told you that Leaf had as many wins in his first two games as he would the rest of his career, the entirety of his NFL career? The next week, Ryan Leaf took the honor of having the worst game in NFL history. Seriously, the stats back it up. Leaf posted a 0 quarterback rating behind a 1 for 15 day. Worst part is that the lone completion came on his first throw of the day. He then threw 2 interceptions, hitting Chiefs defenders with more passes than his own guys. If that wasn't bad enough, he fumbled the ball away 3 times. In the first 7 drives, Leaf single-handedly gave the ball away 5 times. When you add in taking 2 sacks, the Chargers ended with a negative 19 yards passing on the day. Ouch. That negative number broke a Guinness Book of Not World Records for yards that stood for over a decade. Ryan Leaf backed up his horrible performance by screaming and cussing at a cameraman while recording a local TV show. When the San Diego media reported on the incident, Leaf turned his rage to them, tirading on a reporter in the locker room. It took multiple Chargers players and personnel to separate and calm him down. In practice, he threw an intentional pass at the reporter when his back was turned, but it was deflected by a player on the sidelines. On to the next game, which Leaf opened up by throwing 3 straight picks, and a final one in the fourth quarter. Unsurprisingly, he was benched. Poetic justice? The next week, Peyton Manning got his first career win against the Chargers, with Leaf missing a 2-point conversion late in the game. In mid-October, Leaf gave out a half-hearted apology of his behavior before he was seen throwing beers at someone at Washington State just a month later. Whether it was the saddening turn of off-field events or the historically bad 39 passer rating on the field, the Chargers could take no more of it. Ryan Leaf was benched for the remainder of his rookie year. He finished with 2 touchdowns to 15 interceptions for 1,200 yards. If you thought that was bad, wait for his next year. After refusing to go to voluntary workouts, Leaf took all of 20 minutes into training camp to suffer a season-ending shoulder injury. While sidelined, all he did was get fined $10,000 for not wearing Chargers gear to games, telling the media his contract would be voided, and then getting suspended 4 weeks for jumping at and getting into a shouting match with his GM. How do you get suspended on your days off? Because San Diego was so bad and didn't learn from their lessons, Leaf got his starting job back the next year. How did he repay them? A 9-game season where he threw 18 interceptions before being promptly put back on the bench where he belonged. They finished 1-15, and Leaf never suited up for them again. So where is Ryan Leaf now? Well, that's a video all in itself. His career as one of the greatest busts to ever live, and the reaction it got from the world, spiraled him into a dark world of depression. Fighting the psychological and physical toll his career put on him, Leaf turned to an opioid addiction. Unfortunately, it would take over a decade and indictments that led him to Montana and Texas jail sentences before he could turn his life around the best he could. Since then, it's been up and down. Leaf has held positions as QB coach and even ESPN analyst, but fights the daily battle of mental illnesses that he himself professes to. Now he's just trying to utilize his rocky roller coaster life as a tool in helping people fight the same demons that have controlled him before. Regardless of how bad he actually was in the NFL, and he was downright bad, we just wish Ryan Leaf the best to continue to fight for happiness, peace of mind, and closure.